Good morning, motivation team. How y'all doing this morning? If you haven't done so already, thank the Lord that you woke up this morning. Go tell your family you love them, go tell them good morning, and invite them in on the video. Happy Saturday. It is the weekend, and let's go ahead and get it started. Today's verse of the day, I got Isaiah 54:17. Now y'all may know this one. It's very popular. No weapon formed against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and this is their vindication from me, declares the Lord. Whatever weapon is raised against God's people is destined to destroy itself. God will protect his people from criticism. The tongue is a sharper weapon. It has great power. The more haters, the more supporters. The more slander, the more honor. Keep doing what you're doing. Ain't nobody walking in your shoes but you. Now, let me know what y'all think about the verse of the day in the comments down below. And let's get into the video. Today we read in chapter 5, Mark chapter 5. They went across the lake to the region of the Gerasenes. When Jesus got off the boat, a man with an impure spirit came from the tombs to meet him. This man lived in the tombs, and no one could bind him anymore, not even with a chain. For he had often been chained hand and foot, but he tore the chains apart and broke the irons on his feet. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day among the tombs and in the hills, he would cry out and cut himself with stones. When he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees in front of him. He shouted at the top of his voice, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? In God's name, don't torture me." For Jesus had said to him, "Come out of this man, you impure spirit." So our source tells us that this is the most detailed description of a demon-possessed man that we have in the Bible. This man tortured himself and he was self-destructive. He was crying and cutting himself. So our source tells us that this is the most detailed description of a demon possession in the Bible. This man was tortured and he was self-destructive. He was crying and just cutting himself. Demonic possession is when the demonic spirit gets into a human body, and at times the demon will show his own personality through the host's body. Demons considered it torture to be put out of the man's body. And demonic spirits could also deceive and intimidate Christians, binding them with fear and unbelief. Then Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" "My name is Legion." He replied, "For we are many." And he begged Jesus again and again not to send them out of the area. A large herd of pigs was feeding on the nearby hillside. The demons begged Jesus, "Send us among the pigs, allow us to go into them." He gave them permission, and the impure spirits came out and went into the pigs. The herd, about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. Legion meant a unit from 3,000 to 6,000 men. So when they said legion, when they had said legion to Jesus, they weren't saying nobody's name. They were saying, "We are legion." It's a whole unit of us inside of this man. Jesus had allowed the demons to enter the pigs because he wanted everyone to know what their real intention was. And since men are made in the image of God, they could not have their way as easily with the man. But their intention was the same, to destroy him. Those tending the pigs ran off and reported this in the town and countryside. And the people went out to see what had happened. When they came to Jesus, they saw the man who had been possessed by a legion of demons sitting there and in his right mind, and they were afraid. Those who had seen it told the people what had happened to the demon-possessed man, and told about the pigs as well. Then the people began to plead with Jesus to leave their region. So when they saw this man in his right mind, they was more afraid of seeing that than seeing him being demon-possessed. They didn't care about the demon-possessed man in their prison, but they wanted Jesus to get from around there. They wanted Jesus to get away because he had the upper hand on the demons. So they asked him to leave. When people are more afraid of what Jesus would do in their lives than what Satan does in the moment, they often push Jesus away. Some people are afraid of what's going on right now. Jesus gonna tell you to put that shot down and focus on what's in front of you, stop drinking, and you'll probably be going through your thoughts like, oh, like you just going through your thoughts. But Satan, he gonna let you do what you wanna do. He don't care how you go. And also, if God got a plan for you, even if you do fall into Satan's trap, as soon as you fall, guess who gonna be right there to pick you up? Jesus. Jesus will be right there to pick you up. As Jesus was getting into the boat, the man who had been demon-possessed begged to go with him. Jesus did not let him, but said, "Go home to your own people and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how he has had mercy on you." So the man went away and began to tell in the Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him, and all the people were amazed. So the man was set free by Jesus and wanted to be with Jesus. The true change in his heart was shown by his desire to be with Jesus. Jesus had denied his request because he knew that the man had more important ministry with his own family and community. This story showed how much Jesus valued this one person because that was his only reason of coming to that side of Galilee. Nobody is beyond hope. If this man's life could be changed like that, anybody's life can be changed like that. When Jesus had again crossed over by boat to the other side of the lake, a large crowd gathered around him while he was by the lake. Then one of the synagogue leaders named Jairus came in. When he saw Jesus, he fell at his feet. He pleaded earnestly with him, "My little daughter is dying. Please come and put your hands on her so that she will be healed and live." So Jesus went with him. A large crowd followed and pressed around him. So we see 4 things that Jairus had did that had answered his prayer to Jesus. So it says we must put ourselves in the presence of Jesus, the way Jairus came to Jesus. We must humble ourselves. He fell at his feet. We must lay open our requests with earnestness. He had begged Jesus. We must have total confidence in the power of goodness of Jesus. Gotta have confidence, gotta have faith. And a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. She had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors and had spent all she had. Yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came up behind in the crowd, touched his cloak, because she thought, if I just touch his clothes, I will be healed. Immediately, her bleeding stopped, and she felt in her body that she was freed from her suffering. At once, Jesus realized that power had gone out from him. He turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my clothes?" "You see the people crowded against you?" His disciples answered. "And yet you can ask, 'Who touched me?'" But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it. Then the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet and, trembling with fear, told him the truth. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be free from your suffering." When she touched his garment, she was made whole. When we come to Jesus with our sin and lay it on him, it doesn't make him a sinner. It makes us clean. Since this woman thought her uncleanness meant no one would let her touch Jesus, she tried to do it secretly. But God brings his work out into the open, even if it may start secretly. Jesus may ask us to do things that seem embarrassing today. He's not trying to embarrass us. There is a high purpose, even if we can't see it. But if avoiding embarrassment is the most important thing in our life, then we are more in love with ourselves and with our self-image than we are in love with Jesus. And she also told the truth. We must tell him all about our hopes because he wants to know what he can do for us. While Jesus was still speaking, some people came from the house of Jairus, the synagogue leader. "Your daughter is dead," they said. "Why bother the teacher anymore?" Overhearing what they said, Jesus told him, "Don't be afraid, just believe." Jesus knows fear and faith don't go together. Don't try to believe and be afraid at the same time. If you're gonna do something and you want God and you want Jesus to help you with it, don't start it and then wonder how it's gonna get done. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have faith. You gotta go through it. He did not let anyone follow him except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. When they came to the home of the synagogue leader, Jesus saw a commotion with people crying and wailing loudly. He went in and said to them, "Why all this commotion and wailing? The child is not dead, but asleep." But they laughed at him. After he put them all out, he took the child's father and mother and the disciples who were with him and went in where the child was. He took her by the hand and said to her, "Talitha koum," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." Immediately the girl stood up and began to walk around. She was 12 years old. At this, they were completely astonished. He gave strict orders not to let anyone know about this and told them to give her something to eat. Them people that was laughing, he told them, "Hey, since y'all in here with all this tomfoolery, I'm gonna need y'all to go ahead and get out because he didn't want them to discourage Jairus. So we see how the work of Jesus is different and still somewhat the same with each individual. If Jesus can touch each need personally, he can touch our needs the same way. Jairus had a 12-year-old that was about to be gone. The woman that touched his clothes, she was suffering for 12 years. Jairus was a leader of the synagogue. The woman, she was a nobody. Jairus came publicly. The woman had came secretly. Jairus' daughter was healed secretly. The woman, she was healed publicly. Jairus had thought he had to do a lot to heal his daughter. The woman, she thought all she had to do was touch his clothes. Jesus did not fail Jairus, and he did not fail the woman who needed healing. But he needed to stretch the faith out of Jairus a little bit more. And that was it for today's video. If y'all enjoyed the video, please like, comment. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Y'all, if y'all coming from TikTok, thank y'all for supporting. Y'all know how we doing over there. We doing, you know what I'm saying? We working over there, you know what I'm saying? Thank y'all for supporting me. And y'all, don't forget to let me know about the verse of the day, Isaiah 54:17. Let me know how y'all feel about that down below in the comments. That being said, y'all have a blessed weekend. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I'm out.